eyes may be on the national championship in Houston on Monday night between Washington and Michigan, but you don't want to miss out on the other major championship game happening less than 4 hours north of Houston on Sunday afternoon. It's the FCS championship game between Montana and South Dakota State in Frisco, and it's going to be a good one. So start your championship week off right. Get ready for the FCS title on Sunday, then watch the FBS title on Monday, but don't disregard this matchup between the Grizzlies and the Jackrabbits, one that has an opportunity to be high-scoring, an opportunity to be closer than many think. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Ready to break down our FCS National Championship pick between the 13-1 Grizzlies and the 14-0 reigning FCS champions and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks, that holiday special there for you, giving you every single bowl game spread pick, every postseason pick, every NFL playoff pick. And you know, it's never too early or too late to sign up for those guys. You do not want to miss out on the opportunity to sign up for those expert picks before the prices change, hitting over 63% of our postseason bets, hitting over 65% in our best bet section. So if you want to win big with us, go take advantage and become a member of our GE Nation for year-round college football content. So let's take a look at this game, guys. I think it's fitting, right? The state of Texas getting to host the two biggest championship games in all of college football. It's going to be a really, really great opportunity for the state and a great opportunity for us as college football fans. And if you're in the area, why not make a road trip out of it? Maybe go to both championship games. Frisco on Sunday, Houston on Monday. But we got this matchup here between the Grizzlies and the Jackrabbits. South Dakota State obviously looking to capture their second straight national championship. They have been absolutely dominant over the last 2 years. They've won 28 straight games, guys. South Dakota State has won 28 straight games. Their last loss was in the 2022 season opener when they went to Iowa and only lost that game 7-3. They won their 3 playoff games this year by a combined score of 123-12, with shutout wins over Mercer and then a shutout win over Albany in the semifinals, beating them 59-0. So Jackrabbits have been the most dominant team in the FCS each of the last 2 years, and are looking to put that stamp on it with another national championship. Montana, though, what a run for them. The Grizzlies traditionally are a pretty big power in the FCS, but they've just struggled to get back to that championship game. They haven't won the national championship since 2001. They're making their first appearance in the national championship game since 2009. But this Grizzlies team, man, there is no quitting them. They're very dangerous. They've won 10 straight games following their 14-point loss in September to Northern Arizona. That was kind of a wake-up call for the Grizzlies. And they had a remarkable playoff run, too, a thrilling playoff run, beating Furman in overtime in the quarterfinals, and then beating one of the biggest dynasties in all of sports, North Dakota State, beating them 31-29 in double overtime. So 1 overtime in the quarterfinals, 2 overtimes in the semifinals. Can we go for 3 overtimes in the national championship? We can only hope, right? Let's take a look at the offense, and we'll start with Montana. We'll start with the Grizzlies. This is a good offense, guys, and one that wants to run the ball. And why wouldn't you when you have the Jerry Rice Award winner, which goes to the top freshman in the FCS, Eli Gilman at running back. He's averaging 5.1 yards per carry, 950 yards, 12 touchdowns on the year. The Grizzlies as a whole are averaging 230 rushing yards per game. This is one of the best rushing offenses in the entire country, and they're just so hard to bring down, so hard to slow down. This is a team, guys, that scored at least 30 points in their final 7 games. And, the focus obviously goes to Eli Gilman, how good he's been, especially as a young player. But you cannot take away anything from their quarterback in Clifton McDowell, who's thrown for over 1,800 yards and 13 touchdowns, but is also the Grizzlies' number 2 rusher with over 750 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. So that RPO-style offense, not knowing whether McDowell's going to keep it, not knowing whether Gilman's going to get it, or also knowing that McDowell can take off on a design pass play, he can pick up that first down with his legs. That's a thing that defenses have really struggled to handle all year long. It's going to be a very big test for the South Dakota State defense. You take a look at the Jackrabbits. What do they have on offense? Everything. I mean, they pretty much have it all. But it starts, though, with their quarterback, Mark Gronowski. A couple of years ago, he kind of bursts onto the scene He, to me, has been a guy that has just gotten better every year that he's been the starter with South Dakota State. This year, maybe his best season yet, was a top 3 finalist for the Walter Payton Award, which goes to the top offensive player in the FCS. Has thrown for over 2,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Does a great job taking care of the football. And he's thrown the ability with his legs as well, with 349 rushing yards. Isaiah Davis, though. Isaiah Davis, I feel like we've been calling this guy's name forever. The running back for the Jackrabbits is still one of the best running backs in the entire country. Over 1,400 rushing yards this year, 17 touchdowns. Again, he's just a guy like Gronowski that seems to be getting better every single year, and that's a major reason. Those 2 players, a major reason for South Dakota State's success over these last 2 years. They're averaging 45 points per game, 194 passing yards per game, 209 rushing yards per game. And so it's evident that the Grizzlies and the Jackrabbits both want to run the ball, and they're both very good at it. But when it comes down to it, South Dakota State does own the passing edge. South Dakota State does own the quarterback edge with Mark Gronowski, and that could end up being a difference maker down the road. One last thing on South Dakota State, just to show how dominant this team has been over the last few years. This is a team, guys, that has only had 2 games decided by 1 possession this year. They're blowing the majority of their opponents out of the water, and we saw that even in their playoff run. But what's even crazier is they've won 28 straight games. 28 straight games. And only 5 of those wins have been decided by 1 possession. 5 wins in the last 2 years combined decided by 1 possession. If that doesn't show you how dominant this team has been, I don't know what will. So the question is now, can Montana find a way to slow down the Jackrabbits? Obviously a very fast animal, a very fast team. Can the Grizzlies slow them down? The defense has to find a way to stop the South Dakota State balance. And I would say they could do that against the run, right? The Grizzlies are only giving up 102.8 rushing yards per game. That's not bad at all. They've done pretty well against the run for the most part. They're giving up 208 passing yards per game. So all in all, not that bad. But here's the thing. They've got to find a way defensively to play a complete game with very little mistakes. You look at the last 2 games they've played in the playoffs against Furman and North Dakota State. Furman, the defense, they played well. But what was the downside for Montana? It was penalties, a lot of penalties. They had 90 yards worth of penalties that allowed that game to remain close. Against North Dakota State, penalties were cleaned up. They allowed the Bison to run all over them, allowing 175 rushing yards in that game, and were actually outgained by 48 yards on the day. Managed to win in double overtime, stopping the Bison on that 2-point conversion, but still, penalties. You can't have too many of those against a good team like South Dakota State. You can't allow the Jackrabbits to run all over you and maintain the balance. So Montana is going to have to play probably their best defensive game of the year and their most complete defensive game of the year if they want to pull off this upset. I will say, though, one thing that the Grizzlies have going for them is a great pass rush. 32 sacks on the year. That's really, really good. Can they break through a South Dakota State offensive line that's only allowed 10 sacks? That remains to be seen, but that's going to be an interesting battle in the trenches. But it's also the ability to get teams off the field. They're getting their defense off the field. Montana, guys, has one of the best third down defenses in the country. Their opponents are converting just 28.8% of their third downs. That's really, really low, and that's really, really good if you're a Grizzlies fan. So, Montana, if you have yourself an opportunity at third down, you've got to find a way to get the stops and give your offense as many opportunities to score as possible, because South Dakota State's defense is the best in the country. They're number 1 in the FCS, allowing just 257 yards per game. That's it. They're allowing just 92.6 rushing yards per game. That's it. So you've got a Montana offense averaging over 230 rushing yards per game against a South Dakota State defense allowing just 92.6 rushing yards per game. What's going to give? Will the Grizzlies and Eli Gilman and McDowell continue to have their way, or will South Dakota State bottle up the run and basically make Montana's offense almost non-existent, or force McDowell to win the game through the air, which is not something that the Grizzlies want to have him do. Something's going to have to give in this game. That's going to be the matchup you want to watch. But here's the thing. South Dakota State's defense, on top of those stats we just mentioned, they bend a little bit maybe sometimes, but they don't break. The Jackrabbits have not allowed over 21 points all year long. Not a single team has scored more than 21 points on South Dakota State all season. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. So that tells me that, if you're Montana, if you want to win this game, you're going to have to eclipse that mark. You're either going to have one heck of a day from your defense and make this a low-scoring affair, or you're going to have one heck of a day from your offense and make this thing a shootout where maybe you can find a way to pull off this upset. Jackrabbits have forced 26 turnovers. They have 24 sacks on the year. Montana's offensive line, they've allowed 32. So again, that battle in the trenches will be key. Who can get more pressure? Right now, based on history, it would look like South Dakota State. This is going to be an interesting game, guys. A lot of intangibles here. Can the Montana run game get going against this number one defense in the country? Who can generate more pressure against the quarterback? If one of these teams becomes one-dimensional, who can find a way to win? Could it be McDowell that delivers through the air? Could it be Gronowski that wins it through the air? Especially if both teams' run games are taken away, which is the strength for both of these teams. This has the makings, guys, to be a very fun national championship. Typically, it is down in Frisco. It's a very great site for it. The pageantry, the excitement, it's all there. You need to watch this game, no doubt about it. But ultimately, what's going to happen? The Jackrabbits are going to win their second straight national title. South Dakota State will win back-to-back national championships. To me, guys, I cannot pick against it. I cannot pick against the team that's won 28 straight games. I cannot pick against a team that defensively has not allowed over 21 points all year long. That's absolutely ridiculous. They have a balanced attack that I think will slowly wear down that Montana defense. I don't think the Grizzlies are going to have as much success on third down as they've had this year. They're going to get tired defensively. The offense will get stuffed a few times by the South Dakota State defense, limiting the amount of possessions. South Dakota State pulls away in the second half. They win their second straight national title, and you could say maybe a dynasty is beginning to form in Brookings, literally passing down the torch. North Dakota State was the king of the FCS for so long. South Dakota State dethroned them last year. North Dakota State didn't even make the championship this year. Maybe they are literally passing down the torch from North Dakota to South Dakota. The Jackrabbits win their second straight and will be the king of the FCS until proven otherwise. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube, our FCS National Championship prediction. Make sure to check it out on Sunday afternoon. Get you ready for the Washington-Michigan game on Monday night. 2 championship games in the state of Texas. Do not miss out on them. But until then, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks, that holiday special there for you. Become a member of our GE Nation over on the gridironexpert.com. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.